everyone, today I'm going to be teaching you how to make this beaded square knot bracelet. Before we get started here, I want to thank you guys for 5,000 subscribers. I am absolutely astonished and so grateful for all the support you guys have provided me on this channel. I also want to let you know that I have updated my website. You guys can check it out at knackforknots.com. I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. So without further ado, let's get started with this tutorial. The supplies you will need for this tutorial include a clipboard, a ruler. You will also need some wax polyester cord. The one I've selected is 1mm thick, and you can purchase it at any of the links I've included in the description below. You'll also need scissors, a lighter, and beads. The ones I've selected for this tutorial are the size 6O, or I believe they're called E-beads, and I've purchased these from Michael's Crafts. While it is optional, I do recommend having a small candle or tea light. To begin, I'm going to cut 7 strands of varying lengths. I'm going to cut 2 strands, each 36 inches long. Next, I'm going to cut 2 strands, each 12 inches long. The next 2 strands we will cut will be 10 inches long. And finally, I'm going to cut 1 strand, which is going to be 4 inches long. Taking the two 36-inch strands and the two 12-inch strands, I'm going to match the ends. Once I've matched the ends, I prefer to clip it to my clipboard to make sure that they all stay aligned. Taking that 10-inch strand, I'm going to fold it in half and match the ends. I'm then going to tie a simple overhand knot, leaving a very loose knot at the end. Taking those 4 ends, I'm going to pass those through that loose knot we've just made, and then finally tighten that knot around that bundle of strings. So tighten it as much as you can, and then we will make the start of a simple square knot. Taking that right hand string, I'm going to cross it over the core strings and underneath the left hand string. Then I'm going to pass that left hand string underneath the core strings and up and through the loop on the other side. And then we can pull that knot really tight. I'm then going to unclip the project from the clipboard and carefully melt down the ends. We are going to carefully melt the ends by holding it close to the flame, not completely submerged as I have shown here. We just want the ends of our cord to melt, not cause it to catch fire. This creates a nice finished look to one side of our bracelet. I'm then going to clip the smaller strands onto the clipboard again, and we're going to arrange our strings for the knotting process. Taking the 2 longer strings, I'm going to move them each to the left and the right of the 2 core strands. And now we can begin tying our square knots. If you already know how to tie a square knot, you can certainly skip ahead. However, if you've never tied a square knot before, I will explain the process. I'm first going to take the right hand string and pass it over the core strings and under the left string. In the next step, I'm going to take the left string, passing it underneath the core strings, and up and through the loop made on the right hand side. Make sure to pull the core string slightly before tightening the knot. To tighten the knot, we take the left and the right strings and give it a gentle tug. Now we will complete the second half of the square knot. Taking the string on the left hand side, we're going to pass it over the core strings and under the string on the right hand side. Then I'm going to take the right string, pass it underneath the core strings and up and through the loop made on the left hand side. Then we can tighten that knot around the core strings. Now we repeat those 4 steps about 3 times before adding the beads. Once you have completed those knots, we can start adding the beads. Taking my gold 6/0 beads I purchased from Michael's Crafts, I'm going to start threading them onto the 2 core strings. You do not need to use these exact beads, but when you're selecting beads, make sure that you are mindful of the string thickness that you are wanting to use in your project. The number of beads you use will vary depending on the size of the bracelet you want to make, or if you want to make an anklet, you might want to thread on more beads. For those of you who are curious about the exact number of beads I've used 25 beads. Alternatively, you could tie the knots around the beads and thread them as you go, but I do find that threading them all at once is much easier. Once all the beads have been threaded onto the core strings, we can resume tying our square knots. Because I finished my previous knotting sequence on the left hand side, I'm going to take the left hand string and pass it over the core strings and under the string on the right hand side. I am then going to take the right hand string, pass it underneath the core strings and up and through the loop on the left hand side. I am then going to take the right hand string, pass it over the core strings, underneath the left string, and then take the left string, pass it under the core strings and up and through the loop on the right hand side. Once we have completed both sides of the square knot, I am going to move another bead up toward the knots. Then I am going to repeat that knotting process again, making sure that bead is nice and secure. We will keep repeating this process until all of our beads have been knotted into our bracelet. Once I have knotted in all of the beads, I am going to tie another sequence of square knots as I did at the beginning of the bracelet, just to make sure that each side is symmetrical. I am then going to take that last 10-inch strand and tie a loose overhand knot around our core strings and knotting strings. Once I've completed that overhand knot, I'm going to follow up with 1/2 of a square knot, and then I am going to cut the ends of our bracelet, leaving out those 2 tails of the 10-inch strand. Then I'm going to take my lighter and I am going to carefully melt down the ends. And I'm so sorry guys, when I filmed this I had no idea I was out of frame. Now we can add the finishing touches to our bracelet. To complete the adjustable closure ties, I'm going to twist each strand in the direction of the pre-existing twist in the cord. While I've chosen to do this without a clipboard, I do recommend using a clipboard if you are having difficulty holding all of these strings at once. So here I am just going to twist, 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 and it's okay if the string does twist upon itself, that is alright. We will fix that later. Once each string is sufficiently twisted, I am then going to twist them together. Any of those places where the string has twisted upon itself can be easily smoothed out. I then tied an overhand knot at about 3 inches. We will then trim any excess cord and carefully melt the ends to create a nice finished look. We will then do the same thing on the other side. Taking those 2 tails on the other side of the bracelet, I am going to twist in the same direction as the pre-existing twist in the cord. Once each of those has been sufficiently twisted, I'm going to ensure that these are twisted together, and then tie another overhand knot at about 3 inches. Then we can cut off the excess cord and carefully melt down the end again. And finally, not forgetting about that last 4-inch strand, we are going to use that 4-inch strand as our adjustable closure. Taking that 4-inch strand, I'm going to fold it in half and pass it around the closures that we've just twisted. After tying a simple overhand knot, I'm going to proceed with a couple square knots to form the adjustable closure. and then cutting off any excess cord and carefully melting the ends of that adjustable closure. Once the strings have sufficiently cooled, you can test out that adjustable closure. This allows the bracelet to be adjusted to fit any size wrist. Now your bracelet is complete. It is adjustable and ready to be worn or gifted to a friend. If you have any charms around, you can also add those, or you can use different color beads to personalize this creation. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you make this bracelet, you can tag me on Instagram at @knackforknots. I'd love to see your creations. I really hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye!